my 24-hour insulin ratios went from every 4 carbs to 1 unit of insulin to now every probably 12 carbs to 1 unit of insulin. Then my A1C, it got pretty bad in my opinion because I was, like I said, really trying to live a healthy lifestyle. It went from still a 7.4 in less than a year down to a 6.1, which was like the lowest I've ever had. I actually had amenorrhea for 7 years, which is lack of a menstrual cycle, and yet still like nothing. And then I got my menstrual cycle back after like 9 months, and that was just, it's been regular ever since for the past 4 months, and that has been such a blessing throughout this too. Like, and my blood work only continues to improve. I'm not on my thyroid. I was on hormone replacement therapy, not on that anymore. Everything just slowly has continued to improve. I was diagnosed when I was 14 years old in 2009. I was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes type 1. I was eating maybe 50 carbs a day, and when I would want like a piece of fruit or something, maybe like half a banana or something, my sugars would spike like crazy. And then even on the days where I was doing so well and eating so little carb, I would still have these like crazy spikes. And it was really frustrating because I was doing all the right things. So when I first found the whole like mastering diabetes thing, I didn't jump straight into a lot of carbohydrates. You know, I started with just cutting back my fats by a lot and slowly starting to increase my carbohydrates. From what they had suggested, things were going to change fast, and they really did. And that was really encouraging. So, and I was just, oh, it was like the best time of I still is the best, but like getting to eat like fruit and bananas and all this stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. So it was something I feel so fulfilled in, and also was a little bit of a struggle because I was getting so full from my food, like eating so many potatoes, like you're really full after you eat that stuff. I do homemade French fries, oil-free. And that was another thing. I had joined in on some webinars that they were doing, and they were saying like, you know, in my past, I would always roast vegetables with oil and stuff. So I thought, oh, like what is that going to taste like? Like oil-free French fries. And granted, I wasn't eating French fries before because they were too high carb. And, you know, it's just funny, like I've gone from eating like cauliflower pizza crust to I make now like a red lentil pizza crust, and it's amazing, and my blood sugars are like flatline. I just, yeah, I do oil free. I don't cook with oil anymore. I'm not so restrictive that if I'm like at my parents' house or something and they have, I don't know, made me like a plant-based dessert and there's oil in it, like I will, you know, let myself live and eat like that. I'm not where I don't feel like I'm so restrictive. Like things are so much better now that I even feel more confident to like, you know, just not be so like, oh, I can't eat that as carbs. Or, you know, now in this case, if it's plant-based and maybe has some healthy fats in it, I'm not like afraid of it. My 24-hour insulin ratios went from every 4 carbs to 1 unit of insulin to now every probably 12 carbs to 1 unit of insulin. Then my A1C, it got pretty bad, in my opinion, because I was, like I said, really trying to live a healthy lifestyle. It went from still a 7.4 in less than a year down to a 6.1, which was like the lowest I've ever had. So that was so rewarding. Like getting blood work done throughout this process has been one of my favorite things because I'm just like, look, doctor, look, which some of them have been great and encouraging and others don't really seem underwhelmed, which is really disappointing because you're like, isn't this great? Like, shouldn't we tell people about this? But anyway, and then my weight, it went That was actually one thing that I was a little concerned with. I've always been lean. People do say carbs make you gain weight, and I didn't think I was going to gain weight. I knew that much, that I thought I might lose weight. And not, this is kind of like a separate subject, but I had a lot of thyroid issues, hyperthyroidism, and I actually had amenorrhea for 7 years, which is lack of a menstrual cycle. And I'm 25. That was something that was just on my mind. I don't know if I want to be a mother or have children. I really don't know. But the fact is that if that wasn't happening, that is something that a healthy woman should be experiencing. And I hadn't had it in 7 years. And I was eating lots of protein, eating lots of fats, like everything the doctors are telling me to do. And yet still, like, nothing. And then I got my menstrual cycle back after like 9 months, and that was just, it's been regular ever since for the past 4 months. And that has been such a blessing throughout this too. Like, and my blood work only continues to improve. I'm not on my thyroid. I was on hormone replacement therapy, not on that anymore. And everything just slowly has continued to improve. So yeah, my weight, I was concerned I would lose weight because I didn't want to do that, because I didn't want to risk not having a menstrual cycle due to low body fat. But my weight's maintained. I definitely have to eat a lot more, which is totally cool with me because big appetite. But if anything, my clothes like fit better because I'm not bloated. I don't know why, maybe eating so much fiber, just like never bloated. So that's always really nice. But yeah, all the numbers just keep improving. In the past, I was probably eating maybe around 40 to 50 carbs a day. And now I'm eating anywhere from 220 to 300 carbs a day, which still just sounds like a lot, but it's easy to get down, that's for sure. Energy is good. That was another thing too, that I just remember like calling my brother and being like, "You're not going to believe this. Like, I'm eating so many carbs." I had to stop drinking coffee because it was making me way too jittery. And I used to have like 3 cups of black coffee in the morning, and now no coffee. Like, I wake up ready to go, and yeah, feel good energy, sleep good. So yeah, no coffee. It's too much, too much energy. I start to get jittery if I have it. So it's better just to have like some hot tea with my smoothie bowl. So a day of eating is, my favorite thing is a smoothie filled with I usually always do a base of bananas. And so it's kind of like nice cream for breakfast every morning. Love a smoothie bowl. I find my blood sugars do best with that. And of course, I still fill it with like tons of spinach, and sometimes I'll even throw in some like zucchini, and that just helps add some fiber in and make sure I get that nice steady line. Then for snack in the morning, I usually do apples with either apples and oranges, apples and dates. Yeah, kind of stick with fruit up until lunchtime. And then at lunch, I'll either do a massive salad, like huge, with potatoes or beans on top, or sometimes I'll do like a plate of oil-free home fries and a salad with it. I try to include like greens or vegetables with each meal just because I genuinely love the taste of them. Like, it never feels like I'm scarfing things down. And then dinner time will usually be it's all like oil-free, but I'll do like oil-free tacos with some, like, not necessarily always lettuce wraps, but we have these like potato wraps that we really like to use. Or I'll do black beans and brown rice, which is really delicious if they're really nice and seasoned. Sometimes for dessert, we'll do ice cream again at night. And that's usually that's a typical day. I don't track calories because it's hard sometimes even just tracking like my carbohydrates. I try to write it down in like an app. I try to get all the carbs, but now in the beginning I was doing that to really be good. But now that I kind of know everything and like my weight's staying good, then I don't really track calories, but I just in the beginning I was tracking to make sure I was eating enough because like I said, it's kind of hard to eat a lot of potato. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I know, I mean, I'm definitely getting enough. Like everything feels really good and my weight's staying good. I started running a little bit, which is just still crazy because I've never been much of a runner, but I have the energy to do it. Like I said, my blog started out when I was paleo and low carb, and now it's made a total 180 shift, and I put out only plant-based recipes that are oil-free. And if they use, healthy fats like almond butters or tahinis, things like that, still a lot of savory recipes with wholesome ingredients. Everything's pretty simple because a whole food plant-based diet is simple. So in that case, you can find me on fashionfaithfood.com. I still talk a lot about beauty and just women's wellness, as I mentioned before, of like going through all those kind of woman issues, just help bring a lot to that topic. And if you want to just find me online, you can also look for, fashionfaithfood.com or on Instagram at I am Charlotte Faith. If you told me a year ago, I wouldn't have believed you. I just was, it's funny. I even have a YouTube video about, I guess, a little over a year ago, and I was trying out a new infusion site for my insulin pump because my blood sugars were so out of whack. I just thought maybe it's my pump's fault. Like I'm just am running out of sites. I've had it 10 years now. Like maybe things aren't absorbing properly. Like that's why I'm having the highs. And I ended up like having a breakdown in the video. It's online of me just being so upset with myself and, doing all these things right and yet still having these challenges. And then sure enough, a few months later, I found Cyrus and Robbie, and it changed my life. Like it just still, I tell everybody about it, and I'm like constantly telling people to eat their fruit, like bring back the fruit bowl to your table. Like, oh my gosh, I used to go into people's houses and people had fruit bowls like sitting on the table, and nobody does that. Everyone's so afraid of bananas now. And it's like, what the heck? Like they're the best. They eat one, like maybe 3 or more a day. I would just say that give it 2 weeks, commit to it, grab someone to do it with you. And if you don't like carbs, like I guess maybe it's not for you, but it's going to not only improve your diabetes, but your cardiovascular health. Like it just brings you so many positives that it is so worth just trying out. And it is not bland. It is so delicious. I can understand how it would be hard coming from a really processed diet to a whole food plant-based diet. Like I understand that. But because I was paleo and eating plant, like I was doing the right thing, but man, this is the right thing. Like this has really just been so inspiring, not just for my own health, but my entire family has really been encouraged by this. My husband definitely wasn't too, he was very skeptical, as I was, because we loved our chicken thighs. So it was kind of like, oh, well, I don't know. And he was very like, what am I going to do without my meat? Like, oh my gosh. But now we don't buy it ever. Like he doesn't need it. He eats the same way I do. And it just took a few couple recipes that were like really good. Like my lentil shepherd's pie is his favorite. And like lentil nachos, oh my gosh, he would eat those all day long. So I've definitely got him on board now. For me, like the amenorrhea thing was such a big thing. And like it still kind of makes me emotional because I was like so frustrated. I was doing everything that they told me to do. And I did have doctors that were like, don't go keto. Like that's not good for women. And I understood that and I didn't want to go. So like I was still eating butternut squash, like, and a lot of it. I was, still eating carbs a little bit, but nothing like I am now. And just the fact that I feel like I was always open to the idea of plant-based. Like I liked the idea of it and I love animals. So I was like, whatever. Like I grew up on a farm. So I was okay with going plant-based, but I just thought I have diabetes. I can't do that. Like I can't eat carbs because of my disease. And for now to be able to eat as many as I'm eating, like there should be nothing stopping you from trying it, because if a diabetic can do it, then like your working pancreas can definitely do it. Like I promise it's going to make you healthier and you feel so good.